Dad.
Maybe sooner.
Dad, knock it off or I'm going to beat you.
Erik, coming to you in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to another edition of the local show here on
Sorry,
GrassRoots.
do that again. My bad.
It's okay.
Okay, coming to you in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to another edition of the local show here on GrassRoots Community Network, Facebook Live and YouTube. Thanks for joining us, guys, each week where we feature inspirational locals here from Aspen, Colorado. I'm Erik Skarvan, your host. This week I'm very happy, honored, excited, because I hardly ever see the guy. He's a longtime friend, Olympian, founder of the Klug Foundation. I just gave it away there. And real estate professional. We got Klug back in the house. Great to see you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, Erik. Thanks a lot for having me on. It's nice to see you and see a few of my friends. I miss my friends these days. I haven't really seen anybody. And
Yeah.
so it's great to connect today. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, I know you've been doing a little training in the great outdoors and, having some social life there and seen some of your pictures up on social media. And we'll talk about that because, we've got so much to get to with Summit for Life already underway, uphilling well underway.
Yeah.
But I wanted to start with something kind of neat because I know because of COVID, you've had a lot of different adventure opportunities with your family. You guys have like a camper.
Yeah.
And I want, since you ended up in the podium, 2002 Olympics, I want your podium top 3 family COVID adventures. These are silver linings that have happened in recent
Absolutely.
months.
And there's been some great silver linings, and you hit it on the head. Some quality time with my wife, Missy, and my kids. We recognized in March that we probably weren't getting on a commercial flight this year, being a 20-year liver transplant recipient and still being on immunosuppression twice a day. I hear from many friends that have traveled commercially that it's not bad and it's probably the planes are cleaner than ever, but
Yeah.
I just feel like, unless I have to, why do it right now?
Why risk it? Yeah.
And I, God forbid, don't want to bring it back to and endanger anyone in our community or our neighborhood or family. So I'm being extra careful. I think I'd do fine if I got COVID, but I continually say I don't want to find out.
Yeah, no.
And so hopefully we'll get on the other side of this together. But we got a new camper, a Taxa Cricket in the spring down in Denver. And it was very funny. I went down there thinking, I'm the only idiot in the world that's buying a camper right now. Nobody could possibly be buying a camper with a pandemic and the world coming to an end. I go down there thinking, I'm going to get the deal of the century. And the dude laughed at me. He's like, well, do you want it or not? Because there's 4 people behind you. Take
Exactly.
it or leave it.
It's just
I
the
got to
opposite.
move on. I was like, wait, what?
Just the opposite. Everyone wants that.
Classic. So we jumped in our camper in the spring. We drove to South Padre, Texas, and went kiting there for a week. That was amazing.
Awesome.
Great quality.
Kiteboarding.
Yeah, phenomenal foiling and kite surfing. We did a couple of great Moab mountain bike trips with the camper,
Fun,
just weekend
super
getaways. That was awesome. Did a Twin Lakes adventure, kiting and stand-up paddleboarding with the family there.
So you filled the podium.
Well, I would say that, and then we did a phenomenal trip to Oregon this fall to visit my wife's family. And we did it really safely. Missy, worked her butt off, filled the camper with food and water and everything. We never really went in any stores or restaurants or hotels or anything on our trip there. And then her parents are older. They're in good health, but they're older. And so we really wanted to be careful with them. So we both had our campers and we just set up shop on opposite sides of the campfire and got to hang out with them for a week and
How cool.
kept them healthy and safe. And they hadn't really been out of their house. So I think it was nice for them too to be able to see their daughter and their grandkids and their son-in-law and spend some time together safely in the beach in Oregon. So I would say Texas, Moab, and Oregon we're on the podium.
How great is that?
Yeah,
How
that
great
was
is
great.
that?
And definitely, I know it's cliche, but there's been some real silver linings. Some great quality time with the kids. And even this week, they're learning remotely this week. And I'm working at home, and it's just fun, spending so much time with them.
Yeah.
When they do go back to school full-time in person, that's the goal and what we all want. And obviously a lot easier on Missy and I, not trying to run the online school at home. But it's fun seeing them every day
Right.
for sure.
Well, COVID's also changed the real estate protocol a little bit. We were talking a little before the show of actually showing homes. And could you tell people a little bit about the nuances with COVID?
Well, a couple things we were talking about earlier, just actually the procedure for showing homes. it's incredible, and you know this. We've seen so many visitors and friends and family. Everyone's sort of threshold for COVID is different.
Yeah.
And I
true.
noticed right away, some people would get out of the car and come up and give you a bear hug, and others would get out of the car, and if you got within 100 yards of them in their hazmat suits, they'd freak. And then everywhere in between.
Right.
And so I recognized early on,
interesting.
like, I'm going to show up early. I'm going to stage the whole house. I'm going to have windows and doors open and good airflow, and I'm going to just stand outside and turn up the volume. And that's pretty much what I did all summer, and it was totally safe. And yeah, I might have, I'm a little bit of a loudmouth, so it worked out fine. And we did have a risk of a few squirrels and stuff entering the house in the middle of showings, but we pulled that off. And the other big thing is,
You're outside the home, they're inside the home, and you're kind of like, hey, okay, guys, go check out whatever next, and kind of directing them.
exactly,
basically?
just sort of giving them an
No
audio,
megaphone, just-
an audio tour, like, master's up to your left, and let me tell you about the floors up there, or whatever. Yeah,
That is
it
a
was
riot.
great.
That's and it obviously worked because you had an
Worked
amazing
great.
summer.
The other thing was I had a record-breaking summer of real estate sales, and essentially nobody ever got in my car. Yeah,
amazing.
normally your car's always pristine, and you have, a 3 rows in your car for the big Brazilian families that show up over the holidays
Sure.
or January or February,
Sure.
or anytime you have clients with extended family and friends, you need 3 rows. But had a record-breaking sales summer, and nobody
No need for
hardly
that.
ever got in my car.
That is
And
incredible.
yeah, it was amazing. So those are just a few kind of things that we experienced this summer. But
Well,
I'll tell you,
congratulations on a record-breaking season.
yeah, thank you, Eric.
That's
It was a
incredible.
lot of fun. It was all hands on deck since the end of June.
Yeah.
And in March, we were wondering March, April, and May if we'd even have a summer selling season.
Yeah.
And so it was a 180-degree turn the end of June, and continued all the way through the off season.
And just to kind of put a bow on that, I know we saw hundreds of families moving to Aspen this summer. I think in 1 month there was like 150 families. What's I mean, we know it's COVID related, but can you kind of summarize why there's so much demand on Aspen? I mean, besides that it's a great place and all the
I think
things
they
we kinda-
discovered what you and I have known for
maybe just being
the
discovered.
past
huh?
30 plus years. But
yeah.
it's the great COVID migration, the exodus from urban areas to suburban markets and to second home resort markets.
Right.
And I think the access, the quality of life, even Aspen without the music festival and the Ideas Festival and Jazz Aspen Snowmass and all of the gallery events and social life, it's still one of the most special places on earth.
Right.
And when I drive home to Snowmass, you look up at Ridge Run and Wood Run, even now, what is still essentially the off season,
Yeah.
and the whole hillside's lit up.
Yeah.
All the second homeowners are here.
Right.
And I think just all summer being able to hike and bike and fish and now ski and skin and board, you can't do that in a lot of the major metropolitan areas that are now seeing, a second wave and lockdown. So I think the quality of life and the access, even without all of our, events and a calendar chock full of activities, it's still one of the greatest places on earth.
It's like the pinnacle of the great outdoors or the Super Bowl of recreation.
It is.
All those things. And 4 ski areas with no lift lines doesn't hurt either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
figuring it
huge.
out. I complimented Kaplan the other day and all of Skico for doing a great job getting
Yeah.
their doors open. And I think that's another silver lining of this whole pandemic is the resourcefulness and the creativity of our community.
Yeah.
And communities all across the country figuring out how to navigate this new paradigm when essentially the ground is moving beneath our feet every day.
Yeah.
And it's, there have been clearly some beneficiaries of the great COVID migration, as we say, real estate and bikes and toilet paper sales and campers, as I referenced in March. And there's been, obviously, the food and beverage and hotel restaurants has been very challenging. But I really commend everyone that's put their thinking cap on and figured out how to navigate through this. And I know we got some tough months ahead, but I think there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Right, right. Well, we got so much to get to today. We've got so many great things to talk about, including Summit for Life, guys. It's underway. It's on. And we're going to talk about that throughout the main body of the show. I do want to take a quick break. Thank our underwriters this winter, White River Overland, Klug Properties, Picken County Landfill and Sundog Athletics. We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be only gone for a minute. Our only break of the show, then we'll be back with Olympic bronze medalist Chris Klug, so don't go away.
Okay, you're clear.
All right.
Come back as soon as possible.
I think we'll go.
Online viewers.
I think we'll go right to that video pretty quick.
Perfect.
It's like a minute, I think. 103, I think. Is
Not
the
only do you and I have a lot to talk about normally, but now we haven't seen each other in months, so it's even more to talk about. So
Yeah.
we'll talk Summit for
We
Life
could
now.
easily do an hour. We're going to do another hour special with John Oates for Christmas week.
Oh,
I got
awesome.
him nailed down.
How's he doing?
Early. Good.
Good. How's Klaus
Did you
doing?
get a chance to see the show?
the John
from the
Oates show?
summer?
No, I didn't see his show this summer. Was it great?
Amazing.
He's an
I mean,
amazing-
it was,
he's an
it was
amazing
a
dude.
lifetime experience for me.
Was it?
You know, to be able to hit four. He played 4 songs. Sarah Smile, She's Gone, and 2 from the new Arkansas album.
I haven't
which
heard
is kind
those.
of blues, kind of Mississippi
He's so
blues.
talented.
He's
He's a
amazing.
good dude,
He's in his
too.
70s and he's still fit.
He's 70 years old.
He goes, yeah, I hiked
He's a
up.
fit dude.
Oh, he's like 73, 74.
Is he really?
He goes, yeah, I hiked up, got up Cathedral the other day. Now I know what those tourists that I always was given a hard time to about breathing hard, and now I'm one of them. But he's digging it, yeah, living in Nashville full time. But
Oh, yeah, still has his
COVID
place in Woody
enabled
Creek.
him to get here
That's cool.
several times this year. Normally wouldn't have happened. So that show with him normally wouldn't have happened.
That's
that
cool.
was the biggest silver lining for the local show this summer.
He's a good dude. He's always.
Yep.
Okay, coming back to you. 5, 4, 3.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the local show, guys. Featuring guys like Chris Klug each week here on GrassRoots Community Network. And thanks again for being here today, buddy. And
You bet. Stoked to be here. Thank you.
you founded, as I mentioned in your introduction, founded the Chris Klug Foundation. You were a liver transplant recipient. Now, how many years ago was that?
I celebrated
over-
20 years this summer, July 28th.
Amazing. So
Happy to
over-
still be here.
Over 20 years since you got a life-saving liver transplant. You were in a rough state. You know, you were on a wait list and things were going south with your health, and that basically was a life-saving transplant. Since then, you founded your foundation, and we're now in Summit for Life Week. This is your main fundraiser.
Happy Summit for Life Week.
Thanks, I'm in it. I've already done my first
Love
vertical.
it. Love it.
So I'm registered.
I've been doing it every morning since Thanksgiving, trying to get 11 in a row. Of course, the event is totally virtual this year. CKF has had to pivot as well,
Yeah.
like lots of organization and events. And, you know, we wanted to do this event because, yes, it is our big annual fundraiser for Chris Klug Foundation.
Yeah.
But it's also a great celebration of life. And we really have 3 pillars for the organization. It's education, it's registration, and it's inspiration. And this event also sends a message to the 110,000 people all across the country going through the same thing I did 20 years ago after almost 6 years on a transplant waiting list, that you can do anything after a transplant. And so selfishly, I love skinning Aspen Mountain and I love skiing and boarding down and being with my friends, but posting those pictures on social media and in all of our personal channels and the channels through our foundation also sends the message that you can do anything after a transplant. And that's a huge part of our messaging and what our foundation's all about.
With that inspiration, you know, to give hope, you know, to say, hey guys, you can not only get through this, you can get through this and excel and thrive, not just survive. We got a quick little video I want to toss to that'll give people kind of an overview from last year's event. Let's check that out.
Colorado is the #1 donor designation in the state. 69% of Coloradans have signed up to say, yes, I will support organ donation.
Feeling good, baby.
I love this night. I've been looking forward to it all year.
For 300 and some people hiking up this mountain to help get people off the transplant wait list.
We're doing great things. I'm so proud of our team and the work we're doing, and tonight's making that whole mission possible.
I think this event is just amazing. It supports a fantastic organization and it really brings our community together.
Tonight, seeing everyone come out and support the cause, it's so amazing to see how many people support organ donation in Aspen.
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Yeah.
So fun, and I've been a part of the event every year. I was a little bummed I didn't make the video.
I know. We'll have you back, I promise.
At the end, where I'm usually toasting like a margarita or something, like, yeah, that was a great uphill.
We'll be back next year to margaritas and a big party up on top.
I think we will too. At least 3 vaccines coming out in terms of trying to get us, put COVID in the rearview mirror.
I'm ready to.
Let's talk about kind of how the event has changed and morphed and, like you mentioned, pivoted this year, all virtual. It's underway. Started Thanksgiving, correct?
It did. Started Thanksgiving Day, and there's 5 different avenues to participate this year, really. You can do the actual course on Aspen Mountain, the actual course on Buttermilk, or the virtual versions, which means you could do it from a flight of stairs in New York City,
right,
or a Stairmaster in Paris, for that matter, or anywhere in between. And then there's this vertical challenge that's the accumulative vertical over the 11 days.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Because I'm not the fastest right now.
You're not. I got a few pounds on you, dude. So that started on Thanksgiving Day, and the whole event, the fastest times on the actual courses or the virtual courses, and the accumulative vertical challenge, vertical challenge, say that 10 times fast, all culminates on Sunday the 6th,
okay,
with a live awards ceremony and show and celebration of life, where we're going to present all of the winners in the different categories, 12 and under, seniors, men, women, teams, best Instagram photo contest. And my buddy Steve Wilkinson had a birthday suit image celebrating donor dudes and
is that the guy from
Summit
Leadville?
for Life from Breckenridge. He's the UPS dude there.
Oh, okay.
He supported our event from day one. His son Morgan had a kidney transplant. He's an awesome dude, and he drops off the packages to all of his customers, and they all support him. And he's been doing this for 15 years in a row, and just an awesome guy and great support of the foundation. So an Instagram photo contest, the Bounce Back Give Back Award presentations, the Michael Wells presentation, all on 5 o'clock on December 6th on our social media channels, youtube.com/Chris Klug Foundation and Facebook Chris Klug Foundation page. So yeah, you've got time.
Blast.
It's still on all week.
So you got top male, top female,
Yes.
in terms of the competitive, fastest times.
Yep.
Senior, can you lower that to 60 next year instead of 70?
We'll see what we can do.
Because then I can take advantage of the senior next year.
I like your chances.
So this is the way I think. I'm like, okay, I'm 59, coming up on 60. That means I get to race 60 plus this summer. In bike racing, it's the year, the age you turn that year. So I'm already thinking like, yeah, I get to race 60. I think that's a good thing.
That means you got to do Leadville with CKF this summer.
Yeah.
Kevin Wilson did it with
All
us last year, and I think did a 7:54 with a flat in the 60 and over, and won by
That's the bad
won
news.
by like an hour.
Well, they're still fast
crushed.
guys. It's like you can go 60 plus, 70 plus. They're still fast guys. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go kick butt. There's 20 other guys that are thinking the same thing.
Sure.
So this is great. So Summit for Life, not too late to register. People can
No, you
still
can still
register.
participate, and you can do it any day between now and 1 p.m. on Sunday the 6th. You register at summitforlife.org. And if you don't want to do it, you'll probably recognize quite a few names on there. You can support one of your buddies or do a snowed-in donation to the foundation. And then, like I said, we're going to have the big live broadcast on Sunday at 5 p.m.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's talk about your training, because you're already on day 6? You
This morning was day 6 for me. I've been doing
6 days in a row up Aspen Mountain.
Yeah, every morning at 6:30 or 6:45. Now that we can skin, and you have to be up past Ajax Express, I think, by 8 o'clock.
Okay.
I left at 7 this morning, so I got to sleep in a little bit. But it's kind of the only time I've seen my friends, too, other than this. We all sort of socially distance and hike up Little Nell. And
Perfect.
Again, I turn up the volume, being a bit of a loudmouth, and talk to Dr. John Gibbons went with us this morning, one of our board members, and my good buddy Alex Leffler. And yeah, it's fun. You get to catch up with your friends in a relatively safe environment.
What would be just a general tip you would give people for going uphill, whether they're training, hopefully they're taking part in Summit for Life, but just going uphill, maybe they're just getting started, they're beginners. What would be a tip or two that you would give someone?
One thing I focus on really is my posture. I find myself sometimes kind of kind of slouching over and just muscling it.
Right.
And when I sit upright and let my lungs open up a little bit more and just kind of take
open up.
more manageable steps, I always like to muscle it and take big, powerful steps.
Okay.
But if I just open up my lungs, good posture, and just kind of more manageable steps,
I like that.
that seems to work pretty well for me. And take advantage of the flats if you're trying to do a fast time.
Yeah.
I learned this from you as you take off from me across tortilla flats. When you're on the flats, take advantage of it. And like Marolta's told me many a times, don't start out too hot.
It's just gonna
He
say
said
that.
at Leadville, he said it's all about the back 50.
Yeah.
At Leadville, if not the back 25. Once the race is won or lost, at power line. And if you know how it is, if you start too hot on Little Nell and Bingo,
Exactly.
you're going to die in spar and going up Silver Bell. So I think ease into it. I always joke about starting slow and tapering. That's sort of my strategy. But at some point, you do need to step on the gas.
Start slow
but don't
and
do it too fast.
Start slow and go slower.
Yes, that's kind of my strategy.
That's huge because I like to look at training as a progression, but also that day as a progression.
Mm-hmm.
Starting slower and gradually building up, so you're finishing strong instead of fading at the end.
Yep.
So a lot of people go too hard on that lower half, say it's Aspen Mountain, and then at the very end they're just kind of struggling.
Oh, yeah.
So be a little conservative, be smart, enjoy the social.
And
I
then
like
hammer
using
down when you see the lights and the music, even though there's none this year. But
Right.
imagine in a normal Summit for Life year, you'd see the lights at night and the music and DJ and everything up there. So
I recommend using poles too if they're going to hike. If you're just using traction or snowshoes, poles give you more propulsion. You burn 20% more calories when you're using poles. Upper body versus no upper body.
good to know.
So pacing is important. Using poles,
Yeah.
really crucial. Those are some good ideas. Let's just switch gears because today is a magical day. It's Klaus Obermeier's 101st birthday.
That's awesome.
We were fortunate to kick off our winter series with Klaus. It's snowing, of course. It always seems to snow on Klaus's
It was
birthday.
dumping when I came in today. It was awesome.
I know, he always brings...
Thank you, Klaus.
He talks about Mrs. Howla up in heaven. She shakes her bed sheets. That's what makes it snow. But what are a couple of thoughts? I mean,
I hope
Klaus
she
is
shakes her bed sheets a little more in the next
yeah,
month.
I mean, I just constant shaking
Keep
the
it
rest of the
going.
winter, Mrs. Howla, please.
Yeah.
But what are a couple thoughts about Klaus? He's just such an inspirational character.
One of my favorite Klausisms is you have a choice how you respond to situations. And I know that's really in line with his Aikido training and philosophy, but
Yeah.
we always have a choice how we react and how we choose to respond to situations.
Right.
And what's going on in the world right now is a great example of that. Somebody told me the other day, my friend Liz Bentley, she said, you're going to emerge from this as either a chunk, a drunk, or something else, or a hunk.
Or a monk.
Or a hunk. A monk, maybe
A
that
monk.
too.
That was the other
Either
one.
Hunk, drunk, or drunk. I don't know. Anyway, but
Hunk,
there's some
drunk,
truth to
monk.
that. There's some truth to that. That you
Yeah.
can really, sort of make lemonade out of these lemons.
Yeah.
And for me, being able to mountaineer this summer, and I mean, one of the other silver linings, I got to do the Bells Traverse with David
Right.
Clark and Bob Wade this summer. I'd always wanted to do that. It was on my bucket list, and we did it this summer. Bob's on our CKF board, and that was such a treat to do that. And now hiking and skinning with friends and still being able to do Summit for Life, even though it looks a little different. And,
Yeah.
the energy's still there, and we're determined to eliminate the wait for the 110,000 people waiting today and continue to help inspire everybody. And I just want to say thanks. I know it's challenging financially for many people this year. And we lowered the registration from typically $75 to $25 and a $25 fundraising minimum.
That's great.
And anyone that's apprehensive about spending any money this year about it, I will sponsor them personally. I don't want anyone to not be able to do this because of finances. And I just want to say thanks to our whole community for helping support CKF. We're right here in the Red Brick. And Lauren Pierce and Cece Cunningham, our program director, and Lauren, our executive director, just do an awesome job.
Yeah.
We put on this ambassador panel tour this summer with 4 events nationwide, helping answer a lot of questions to the transplant community and still getting the word out there. So really proud of what we've done and grateful to this community.
Well, we want to shout out to Lauren and Cece and all they do,
They're the best.
including helping with this show.
Yeah.
So thanking them. And like Klaus says, every day is a choice. We have the choice. And I get angry, I get disappointed, I get frustrated. That's all normal. That's fine. That's okay. But I think then to kind of refocus on the glass half full or the mountain half full of snow,
It's
in
coming.
this case. But did you have fun on the show today, buddy?
Very much. Great to catch up with you and see you again. As I said when we started out, I miss my friends, so I look forward to having a beer and celebrating atop Aspen Mountain next year in the Summit for Life Sun Deck Party. But this year we'll all do it Sunday with a beer at home, live in front of our Facebook and YouTube channels.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all you do, Chris.
You bet.
Really
Thanks, Erik.
appreciate it. Thanks for joining us today on The Local Show.
Likewise.
And thank you guys for watching us each week on The Local Show. Yeah!
Love it.
I'm going to get back to my old tradition I did the first couple years.
I love it.
It was like first through the line on a bike race, which, like, this is the only chance I get to do that now.
Did we get everything in there that we needed for the most part? I mean, I didn't get too technical about uploading results and everything, but go to summitforlife.org and we'll figure it all out from there. Awesome.
Pretty much got the main
Totally.
points.
Totally.